The moon was full and illuminating the earth below. The ocean was rough and the breeze was gentle. And I wore a white sheer dress that dangled just above my knees, and my hair was curled by the salty air. And I just looked at this view, and I thought of how grateful I was that this planet was created to sustain life, to sustain plants and trees. And then I thought, if our planet was just 1 degree off of its axis, we would cease to exist. If the planets were rearranged and we were far from the sun or too close, we would cease to exist. But somehow, the planet Earth placed itself perfectly into our galaxy, and life formed, and we were created. And we grew to achieve amazing things. We have created over 7,000 languages. We have traveled to the moon. We have created monuments and cures for diseases and vaccines. So, the greatest achievement of all, wouldn't it be to save planet Earth? Recently, we have been faced with the terror of climate change, rising temperatures causing sea levels to rise and disappearing islands as a result, more droughts, more hungry, more thirsty, wildlife dying, wildfires destroying forests, and pollution is now our new sky, gray and brown. Agriculture failing, more hurricanes, taking out towns and ripping homes away from people, and millions of dollars being spent on repair. So when will this end? When can we finally realize that climate change is fatal? And when can we actively make change so we can start seeing the positive results of reduction of carbon into our atmosphere? But in order for this to occur, we need to change how we act, how we think. We need to gain new perspectives, new ideas, and new passions. We need to work together, collectively, as a unit, not separately. We must not interrupt one another, but listen. And I'm sure you are bombarded daily with news regarding climate change. And some of you may want to seek change, but some don't even think about it. They think, why should I care? Well, this is why you should care. Maybe you have the privilege of living a life where you are directly unaffected by climate change. But you have to stop and think that this could happen to me. There will be no time to ignore it. And every chance we don't take and action we miss, we move this issue onto our children and to our grandchildren. We will have no more excuses to tell when they ask us, why didn't you do anything when you had the chance? And right now, we have the chance. The UN warned us that we approximately have 12 years to make a change in climate change before it is irreversible. That is it, 12 years. If nations do not come together to drastically cut back emissions, then it will be too late. We need to be a part of the Paris Climate Accord. These greenhouse gases that get plummeted into our atmosphere are heat-trapping elements. The CO2 causes thermal energy, and that keeps the trap heated and stayed in our atmosphere, causing average temperatures to rise. And some significant changes have occurred because of that. The ice sheets that make up Antarctica and Greenland are now melting, and the ocean's velocity are increasing. And in addition to that, the habitats of polar bears are disappearing. And they are having to swim miles and miles just to find a small sheet to rest on. They are dying. Another issue is the ocean's acidity. The more CO2 enter our atmosphere, the more our oceans have to absorb it, causing coral reefs to die. They are dying. And I actually had the privilege. Recently I traveled to Chile, and I went to Rapa Nui, which is an island, it's connected to Chile, or Easter Island, and I went scuba diving, and the instructor actually warned me that it wouldn't be as colorful or pretty because it is being affected. So I went down and I saw it for myself, and it was really sad to see. Another issue also are the extreme higher temperatures that raise the level of ozone and other pollutants into our atmosphere that are now exacerbating cardiovascular disease and respiratory diseases, and people are dying. Another issue is natural disasters, which have tripled since the 1960s, causing 60,000 deaths and plus more each year. We are dying. Climate change is not a linear issue, and people tend to want to focus on issues that are linear. Now that you are enlightened on this, we are without excuse. It is time to invest in renewable energy. It is time to protest. It is time to get involved with campaigns regarding education on climate change. And maybe it is time to reflect on how you live your life. Don't run into water. Do you really need to drive your car when you could walk just 5 minutes to the grocery store? Bring a reusable bag. Don't use those plastic bags that will just end up in our oceans. And when you all are old enough and you have your own home, maybe try solar energy instead. If we all became more aware of the carbon footprint that we leave behind, the Earth would be much more healthier, and so would we. Let's try and sustain a better home for our children. It is a harsh reality, but the planet Earth is dying. And the thing about the truth is you can walk around denying it, but you cannot avoid it. If we betray nature, then we ultimately betray ourselves. And we need to understand that we are a part of nature, not apart from nature. And I know the human race is the culprit to this, but we can also be the solution.